Objective 2 gets into discussions between realized and recognized and the difference between the two of those terms. We already talked about realized as being the term for whenever you engage in a transaction with a party and you sell some property, you are going to have a realized gain or loss on that transaction. Recognition means that amount or that item is going to go on your tax return. Okay, so that's the difference between realized and recognized. So we're not going to always recognize transactions where we have realized gains or losses. So get into some of these non-recognition issues right here. When you have dispositions of personal use assets, if you have a gain, then that's taxable. But if you have a loss, it's not deductible. So you can read an example of that. Nice flow chart there. The recovery of capital doctrine simply says that if you sell something and the portion of the proceeds that is the return of your original cost, that's tax-free. You can get your capital back tax-free, and the amounts in excess of that is gain. Let's see, learning objective 3. This is determining cost basis, determining basis in an asset when you first acquire it. So typically it's the property's cost. That's the most basic scenario. It's just that there's other issues that arise when you're talking about basis that you have to be able to deal with. This section right here talks about what if you have a bargain purchase. So you're getting an asset for way below its fair market value. In that case, the government is going to infer that you place a basis on that asset equal to fair market value, and not simply the amount of the bargain purchase. Identification problem. This section is talking specifically about stock. When you buy shares in a company in different lots, like you buy some in October and then some in December, and then you subsequently sell some stock of that company, how do you know what basis to use? If you bought those two lots and they have different prices when you bought them, how do you know what to use for basis? And this paragraph talks about using the FIFO basis. So when you don't know which shares you're selling, you assume that you're selling the oldest or the earlier acquired shares, and you use that cost. See the example 11 there for an example of that. Allocation problems. A lot of times this is a very common situation when a company buys another company. They buy the assets of another company, and it's a lump sum purchase. In that case, basis for each individual assets is determined by looking at the fair market value of each asset. If your purchase price for the whole lump of assets is more than the sum of all of its fair market value parts, then you have goodwill. That's what's creating goodwill as a separate asset, and the excess purchase price over the fair market value of all the other assets combined is goodwill. And here's an example right here that talks about goodwill. Example 13, yes, there's a goodwill situation right here. So look over examples 12 and 13. Those are good ones. Let's see, what else do we have here? Gift basis. I'm going to get into on the next video gift basis and basis in property that you receive from a decedent.